Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our co-founder matchmaking event. My name is Arantxa. I'm a startup scout at IMIC iStart, and together with Sabine from NOAA, we will be your host for the upcoming 25 to 30 minutes before your one-on-ones will start. So we'll go over some practicalities in the upcoming half an hour. We will give you an introduction to IMIC iStart and the Growth Collective, and then dive a little deeper into the do's and don'ts, some tips and tricks on co-founder matchmaking. And Sabine will end this presentation. She's an expert in co-founder marriage, and she will give you very briefly some information about the co-founder marriage, but also about the trajectory that they offer at NOAA. And then afterwards, of course, from 5:30 until 8, you will have your one-on-ones with hopefully your future co-founder. Important to mention is that this is a pre-recorded session. So it's recorded now, it's Wednesday morning, so the day before the event. And at this moment, we have 158 participants, of which 43% want to join an existing startup. They don't have a startup themselves. And 57% have a startup and are looking for a co-founder or a late co-founder. There are 484 meetings planned already, which is quite good, and which means that there is an average of 6 meetings per user. Know that you can still, even during this event, plan extra meetings if you want. But we also advise you to take a little break maybe in the middle, because if you booked your agenda full, this is going to be an intense evening, which is also super nice, but just so you know upfront. Something new that we launched in this edition of the co-founder matchmaking event is the community platform. So if you look at your meeting agenda, you will also see the link to the community. You will all be part of the community after the event, which means that even after the event, you can still reach out to founders or potential founders that were present on the event, and you can still make connections. Let's say that you wanted to book a meeting with someone, but his or her agenda was full. Don't worry about it. You will find all the contact details, and you will be able to still reach out via the community platform up until 6 months after the event. We will also use this community platform to share some interesting events from the Growth Collective, but also from communication partners, and also some random events where we think they might be relevant if you are looking for a co-founder. So you will see if you join the community platform, there are already some events there, but we will update, of course, in the upcoming months if we see new opportunities. There's also an information page, it's the news page, where you can read some articles where we will post also interesting articles about finding a co-founder, so that you have all the information you need to start this journey in finding a co-founder. So please feel free to join the community, to have a look at it, to give us some feedback if you have feedback, and especially follow up on the community in the upcoming months to see if there are new opportunities for you to find. And then very practical on the conversation starter platform. So you will receive an email as well as an SMS with the link to your first meeting. And there you can just wait until your match appears. You can test your audio and video, of course, and know that every meeting will take 12 minutes, and the meeting will be stopped after 12 minutes. Between every meeting, you have a 3-minute break. You can use that break to write some things down, but in terms of contact details, profiles, you will still have access to those even after the event. So there's no need to write down contact details throughout the events. Okay, so let's start about how to find your co-founder and a little introduction about IMEC iStart. So IMEC iStart is a pre-seed investor and accelerator program for tech startups. Important to know is that we invest through evergreen fund, which makes us a little bit different than a typical VC. Of course, we also have selection, and we will select the startups where we think they have potential for IMEC iStart, but we are not that return on invest driven as a typical VC. So why is that? Because an evergreen fund, it means that if we have proceeds from a potential exit in the future, they will flow right back to the fund and they can be reinvested again in new tech startups. So the goal of which the fund was created was really to create economic activity in the region and beyond. So that's a different perspective than a typical VC. Then once you are selected, so if you are in the ID phase, that's typically a little bit too early for IMEC iStart, but once you are selected based on your proof of concept and on the market research that you have already done, we will get you product ready, market ready, growth ready, and investor ready in a program of 12 to 18 months. So it's normally 12 months, but 18 months for deep tech and medtech startups because they have longer sales cycles and product cycles. So, but for most startups, it's a program of 12 months. And of course, we have an alumni program after that. So we've supported over 360 startups over the last years. So we've been in contact with a lot of early stage startups, but also a lot of scale-ups via our alumni program. And a question that we get quite often is, I'm looking for a co-founder. I'm looking for a late co-founder. My co-founder had to quit and we're looking for someone else to join the team. Can you help us? But on the other hand, we also get contacted a lot via LinkedIn or via our general email address with people that say, I really want to join a startup as a co-founder. You're in contact with a lot of startups. Can you please introduce me to your community? So, and that's why we started with this co-founder matchmaking event. And the co-founder matchmaking event is part of the Growth Collective. Very briefly, the Growth Collective is a collective of 3 business accelerators. So I started KBC and NOAA that work together to be able to maximize founders' chances of success. And one of the projects where we work together on is this co-founder matchmaking event. And there we found a partner in NOAA as well. Because at IMEC iStart, we see a lot of people. We can bring together a lot of people. And we do that via the co-founder matchmaking event. So this event where you will have a lot of meetings, very short, with a lot of potential co-founders, will give you the opportunity to find each other. But what NOAA does is they have a find your co-founder trajectory where they really go into depth about your co-founder relationship, but also finding your co-founder. Let's say you didn't find your co-founder this evening. NOAA can still help you out more in depth to find that one person that is the perfect match for you. And if you have found your co-founder, they can help you strengthen that relationship, go over all the practicalities, and help you with those first steps in marriage until you have a formal agreement and even beyond. And we all know that a strong founding team is crucial, but why exactly do you need a co-founder? Well, first of all, studies show that solo founders have less chances of success. There's a lower success ratio of single founder companies. That's also something that we experienced as IMEC iStart and why we chose to only invest in multiple founder companies. So the founding team is really an important feature for investment decisions. Investors, they base their investment decision most of the time also for a big part on the co-founding team. Are they complementary? Do they have the right expertise? Do I trust these persons? And as two co-founders, you just know more than one single person. And then also on a personal level, we know being in a startup is a roller coaster with lots of ups, but also lots of downs. And it's very important that you have someone where you can share that burden with, but also share the successes, of course. So, and what makes a good founding team in terms of skill sets? The more different, the better. You have to be complementary, so that means that that you have complementary skills as well. And in terms of personality, area of interest, and commitment, we see that the more similar or the more aligned, the better. If we look at teams within IMEC iStart, if we have two founder teams, most of the time we see a technical person with more a commercial person. And if we see a team of three co-founders, we have more like, so again, the technical product person, the commercial sales operational person, and then someone who is more into business and finance. But of course, this is not the standard. It's a good way of approaching it if you're looking for a co-founder. But yeah, it can be different for every founding team, of course. In a good founding team, you know each other, and knowing each other starts with knowing yourself. So I hope that before the event, you already took some time to think about what gives you energy, what are you good at, what do you love to do, but also what are your weaknesses? What things do you don't like to do? Because that's also important, because you will look for a co-founder who is complementary and who loves the things that you, or loves to do the things that you don't love to do. So think about also your intentions and your expectations. Understand your personal situation, your own working style, and don't think that everybody has the same working style. So be aware of how you think about those things, and also think about what are your non-negotiables upfront and what are red flags for you upfront. And then, yeah, general advice, not only for the co-founder event, but in life, be yourself, be authentic, because that will help you on the long term in building that relationship. Okay, what is important to know about each other? So for tonight, you will only have 12 minutes to meet your potential co-founder. The meetings are only 12 minutes. This means that you will be able to ask some interests, some experience, look at this person's personality, see if there is a click or a first spark, but know that we've provided you with the brochure that we sent to all of you. It has a list of 50 questions that you want to ask your potential co-founder. And here are some of the questions. You can find the full list in the brochure. And that might be an interesting list if you have a follow-up meeting with someone that you met this evening, to take these questions to a next meeting as well. All right, what does our experience tell us? Well, 2 to 3 founders seems to do the trick in most cases. Most of the startups that apply to IMEC iStart also have 2 or 3 founders. Sometimes you see teams that have over 5 co-founders, but this seems to complicate the cap table too much, and also the interpersonal relationships. So from our experience, we would say 2 to 3 founders seems to do the trick. Formal and explicit agreements and open communication are key from the start. Yeah? Why are you doing this? What is your vision? And what are your expectations? How will you react when things are hard? This is a very important question, and something that we will come back at as well. We will always advise startups or potential founders to first work together in a trial period where you can really get to know each other and also see if there is a stressful situation, how will my potential co-founder react to this situation? Is it going to be fire and oil if you are in a stressful situation, or are you going to be even stronger as a team in stressful situations? The ideal co-founder has the skills you lack and loves to do the work that you don't. I already mentioned this, but this is so important to look at. Okay, our vision is aligned, our intentions are aligned, but we do have different skills, yeah, and different experience. And then look for a long-term commitment, someone who is really passionate about solving the problem that you are working on, and not just somebody who wants to be part of a startup. Of course, this is difficult to assess in only 12 minutes that will follow in the meetings, but keep this in mind in your follow-up meetings as well, that you are really looking for passion in your co-founder as well. And then what we see is having worked together previously is a positive indicator for future founding team dynamics. And this is something that also investors know. If you can say we worked together for a previous employer already, or we worked together on a project together, this will strengthen your case with investors, but it's also just proven that this helps. And that's why we always advise you, if you find someone this evening where you connect with, don't sign a co-founder agreement next week, but take some time to do a trial period and to really get to know each other and work together. We've had lots of success stories already from this co-founder matchmaking event. Every time I launch a new edition of the event, I get a lot of emails from people that found their co-founder via this event, which is super nice. And I'm always happy if you find your co-founder via our event, that you just let me know. It's always nice to hear. But we also interviewed Hans from AI Blocks and Christina from Contour Lab, who also found their co-founder via the co-founder event. And we asked them, how did you do it? What can you say that might probably help future participants in this event? And what came out of the interview is that before the event, they said they both knew exactly what they are looking for in terms of expertise, and they also requested meetings accordingly. They really went through all the profiles on Conversation Started, and they really made the connections that they thought might be right for them. So they took some time already before the event to do their research, also searching for those people on LinkedIn, already see if there are connections. So they did quite some research before the event. And then during the event, in the 12-minute meetings, they really focused on personality, skills, and interest. Who are you? What are you looking for? And see if there is a click or a spark, if your communication goes fluently or not. So because you only have 12 minutes, that's what you need to do during this event. But then after the event, so how Hans did it, he did a follow-up with 4 people. And then he invited Jeroen for lunch and proposed to work together for 4 months and then reevaluate. So a month later, they signed the letter of intent to discuss how they wanted to work together in this trial period. And after 6 months, so 6 months after the event, they signed a formal agreement. Christina from Contour Lab, she met with a few people in person to talk more in depth about visions, expectations, and so on. But then she had a great match with Ilyas, so they saw each other again and then decided to enter a trial period where they laid out a specific roadmap where Ilyas would work on, and then next to that some small projects as well together. For both of them, Hans and Christina, it took 6 months from the first interaction on the co-founder matchmaking event until they really signed a formal collaboration together. So if you thought that you would have found your co-founder tonight and sign your co-founder agreement tomorrow. That is going to be very optimistic. I think it's realistic to think about a period of a few months to really get to know each other. So what to do after this event? Well, we already mentioned the word marriage, and well, it's quite correct because you will often spend more time with your co-founder than with your life partner. So really take the time to get to know each other, and again, work on a project together to do a kind of short time test as well. Communicate very clearly about your intentions, experiences, expectations, and you're all here to find a co-founder. You will probably meet up with more people after the event or connect with more people. Be also honest about that. Try to keep an open communication. Also, if there is no match, if you don't see the match, tell it to the person that it's not going to work out. This is really already tonight, those 12 minutes will define how your communication will be in the future. So really try to be open and clear about what your expectations are. And then I'm going to give the floor now to Sabine Evers from NOAH. She's the Cupid of co-founders at NOAH. She knows all about the co-founder marriage, and she has the right expertise to really go in depth about your co-founder relation, and they also offer a personalized trajectory if you need more help or more support on growing your relationship with your co-founder, but also with finding the right partner for you, going over all the practicalities that go with your co-founder match. She is the right person for you. So I'm going to give the floor to Sabine now for a little bit of information about the Find Your Co-Founder trajectory of NOAH. We will not see each other anymore unless we have a meeting later on. So I want to thank you already for being here, and I wish you the best of luck with your one-on-ones later. Bye.
Thank you, Arantxa. Hi, everyone. You've probably already swiped through a few profiles tonight, checking who you might have a speed date with and wondering, could this be my person? Now, picture this. You have found your co-founder, but you never had a real talk about what gives you energy, what are your fears, what's your pace, and so much more. 6 months later, chances are that you're not building a company anymore, but you're building resentment. That's where I come in. I am Sabine Evers, Cupid of co-founders at NOAH, and in the next 4 minutes, you will know whether Find Your Co-founder can help you. Let's be clear. 65% of startups fail because of team issues, not due to markets or funding, but because of people with different speeds, different values, different ambitions, and a lot of unspoken expectations. Before you know it, you start skipping conversations, the trust starts eroding, and suddenly everything stands still. When that happens, you don't just lose time, but you lose your momentum, your credibility sometimes, and sometimes even your entire runway. Of course, that's horrible, and that's why we built Find Your Co-founder. It's a 4-month guided matchmaking journey designed to help founders meet, match, and align before you commit. There are 3 building blocks that makes it work. So first of all, there is a smart matching. We go beyond the hard skills. So we also assess purpose, motives, pace, deal breakers, and so on. Second, we organize alignment sessions where you can pressure test your match before equity is on the table. And third of all, we do the guidance. We help you name the unspoken so tough topics like power, peace, priorities don't explode later. So we help you build a strong and healthy relationship where you can dream big, disagree fast, and make decisions without burning bridges because conflict will happen, that's for sure. Being ready for it, that is what makes great teams last. So, if you're still struggling and searching a few months from now, remember with the Find Your Co-Founder program, I can help you tackle the toughest parts of finding and aligning with the right person. Because when you find the right co-founder, everything moves faster, nothing feels forced. Now, some of you might even find your perfect match tonight. That's what this night is for. We would love that, of course. Keep us posted on that. And please don't forget the community platform. There's information available. You also can find that we organize this event twice a year. So the next one is in 6 months, of course. If you need more information, please reach out to one of us. And for now, I still have a few minutes left for a little break, and then you can start with your speed dates. We wish you the best of luck and a great evening. Bye.